The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
We are back. It felt like a longer than usual break.
It did.
I think for me, part of it was that almost the entire week before the break, I was broadcasting remotely. So my presence was basically missing from the studio for 13 days, which is, I don't know, it was a while.
It felt like a long time for me, too, but I think that was just because it was so eventful. When you do a lot of stuff and you're flying and visiting different cities that you've never been to before, just time feels like it's slowing down a bit.
Well, that's good, because usually it's like before you know it, it's December and the year is over. So Pat had a great trip. He went to London, Paris, and Brussels. You, if I recall correctly, had never been to London, or I'm sorry, you had been to London. You had never been to Paris and Brussels. What was how would you summarize the trip, big picture?
European.
Okay.
It was probably the best vacation I've ever gone on. I loved every second of it. I love visiting Europe. As you mentioned, I had been to London. So it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges when I compare London to Paris and Brussels.
In the sense that apples and oranges are both fruits, and all of those are different cities in Europe.
Yeah. So aside from that. But I think Paris was certainly my favorite city that I went to on this visit.
Right.
I would say it's my favorite city in Europe.
Wow.
I love just the age of everything. I think just even being out on the street, everything just looks so beautiful and old, and you can tell with the architecture, there's so much attention to detail.
Right.
I loved every minute of it. It was a great vacation.
What do you think is so special about Paris other than the architecture? Because it has a je ne sais quoi.
Oh, sure.
That is hard to describe to others in some sense. But like, how would you characterize it?
Oh man, it's just like, I think you can say this about many European cities, but I love just being in an atmosphere where you feel as if this is a place that has been around for such a long time, and so much has happened here. Like you can go to the Concord Palace, and that's like the site of the French Revolution, and so many executions were taking place there. Now you can go there and like buy an ice cream and go on the Ferris wheel, and you feel the history, and it's like it's all there with you. And I loved every second of that. I don't know. I mean, when you go and you see something that's built in like the year 1100 or 1200, it feels so amazing because we have nothing to compare that to.
Yeah, it makes a New England house from 1890 just not seem that interesting when you go and you see that the really old stuff is from the 1100s, 1200s, and then you've got less old stuff from the 1600s and 1700s. Now, the question everybody wants to know is, did you stick to your vegan diet the entire time, and how much Soylent did you have?
I had a different meal replacer than Soylent. It's called Joylent, which is like a powder thing. So I drink one shake of that every day, and that's a good 700 calories to start me off. Okay, England, I did fine. Do you know why? Because I speak the language fluently.
Right.
Not as well as the Brits do, but I was able to communicate. I didn't even have to say I eat vegan. I could just make sure that I'm getting like the beans and the hash browns, and things are going to be okay with me.
Right.
France, it was not as easy because veganism is not prominent there.
No.
And also, I don't speak the language. I can say two sentences in French. One is, I don't speak French, and the other is, I'm not a pineapple.
Okay.
That's a story for a different day. So like I'm like looking at the menu. I'm trying to use like the cognates I know from English and Spanish to determine what these words mean.
Right.
But it was a guessing game. So yes, I did eat a little bit of cheese.
You did?
I did eat probably some dairy and some butter and stuff.
Probably.
It was not intentional. It was not intentional.
That's what I was going to say. So you didn't intentionally have any.
No, but I'm dealing with wait staff that doesn't necessarily speak English. I'm pointing at the menu, and then once I order something, it's like the damage has been done.
Okay.
If there's like a little cheese, I'll like set aside the things on the plate, and my girlfriend could eat it and all that stuff.
Let me talk through this.
I did the best I can. Okay.
What is the item that you think, like almost definitely, you ate not vegan?
Well, there was some cheese and a salad.
So cheese you're aware of as definitely not vegan. That was not a surprise.
But like I could like pick it apart,
Okay.
I'm sure they cooked with some butter.
Okay.
Because I could like kind of taste that, and I had to just kind of like hold my nose and get through it.
Wow.
I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect vegan, but I mean, once I've ordered the thing and it's come to my table, what options do I have? Do you just get another meal? I mean, what good is that going to do, right?
Wow.
I just got to suck it up.
Wow. Did you drink Parisian espresso?
Yes.
You did.
Although my girlfriend wanted to drag me to like Starbucks over and over again because that's what she knows, right? And she wants to get like a pure rush of caffeine, not just like the simple espresso shot or cappuccino. And I had to push her like, no, we're in a different land here. We got to live like the Parisians, and we can't do this Starbucks thing. I'm just not going to have it.
That is disturbing, quite frankly. That is very, very disturbing.
Yeah.
What was the most notable thing that happened, big picture?
Okay. Well, I obviously saw like the big sights, right?
Yes, of
and I don't
course.
have to get into like going down Big Ben and going to the top of the Eiffel Tower and all that stuff because that's pretty simple. Crossing Abbey Road to get the picture, very touristy thing to do.
Yeah.
But it's also a whole bunch of fun because first of all, there's like a dozen other people trying to do the same thing, so everyone's kind of waiting their turn. But also you have to wait for the right opportunity
Because of traffic.
Yeah, because it's an active road.
Yeah.
And cars are passing by nonstop. And I think a majority of the people driving understand that these are tourists trying to get their nice picture.
Yeah.
And they're respectful of it, and
Sure.
they'll wait and kind of deal with it. But then you get like those 20% of people who are just on their horns and very pissed off that the tourists are doing this. But we got the picture right. I mean, it took a few times, but
Yeah.
it was just like a fun experience. I don't know if when you went to London, did you do the same thing? It's a very
didn't.
touristy thing to do.
I didn't do that. No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, I'm somehow not surprised.
All right. What else did you want
Okay.
to touch on?
All right. A pickpocketing story from France. I knew ahead of going there that there's a bunch of pickpocketing in France. You got to be wary of it. You got to watch your pockets. And I made sure to put my wallet in my backpack for the entire trip.
But were you
While I
carrying
was
your
over there?
backpack behind you?
Yep.
Okay, that doesn't seem so smart.
As compared to putting it in your pockets, though.
Front pocket.
Yeah, still. I mean, I
Really?
think. Well, yeah, I think hiding it at the bottom of a backpack below like sweatshirts.
Oh, I see.
And zipping it up is
Okay.
safer than just having it in your pocket. So
All right.
all I did was I keep my cell phones in my pockets, and I went through the first 2-3 days in Paris, not experiencing anything that was concerning. I didn't think I would get pickpocketed, and maybe just people are blowing this out of proportion, right?
Right.
So I felt a little bit safe, but I'm still keeping the wallet in the backpack. I'm at the Arc. What's the famous Arc?
Arc de Triomphe.
Arc de Triomphe, and going from there to the Eiffel Tower. So imagine it's a very touristy area, although
Yeah.
it's probably part of a line that extends into the suburbs and whatnot. I step on the subway. I kid you not, like a second after I get on the subway, a guy holding onto the pole drops an inhaler and a few other things like some pens just to create some chaos.
Right.
And also the inhaler kind of gives you this image of like, oh, this poor guy.
Yeah.
He can't breathe very well. You got to be concerned about him. So he reaches down to grab the inhaler, and he's reaching a bunch of other stuff. He's like a foot away from me. The guy grabs onto my leg, literally just holds onto my leg, and he starts exclaiming, my ticket is in your shoe. So once this happens, like I know because there are pickpocketers here, I put my hands right in my pockets where my cell phone is to protect it a little bit, and he just he keeps holding on. And, like the first 2-3 seconds, obviously I was very confused, and I saw the inhaler, so I was like, all right, I can't be incredibly mean to the guy. I got to give it the benefit of the doubt. But it just went on too long.
But he said my ticket in English?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because he probably knew it was a touristy area, and the guy knew what he was doing, right?
Right.
I think what he was trying to do was either hold on to my leg for long enough that a friend of his, some cohort, could reach behind and in the chaos reach into my pocket and leave the train before it left. But luckily, being a city person, I wasn't going to be fooled by it. And so I kept my hands in my pockets for the first 2-3 seconds. And then once he wasn't letting go of my leg, I kicked him.
Really?
The first kick brushed him off of me. And then it wasn't really a strike. It was just kind of like a push kick.
Right.
And then he's because he was on the ground from the get-go. It wasn't like it was a hard thing to do. He's already on the ground.
Right.
And then the second was a strike. I kicked him off the train.
Wow.
And the doors closed. And he It
Did
was
people
a
clap?
bunch of chaos. No, people didn't clap, and then I still had to check. Do I have everything?
Wow.
I still checked my pockets. I looked in the backpack, and I was pretty startled by it.
That is
It was
disturbing.
Yeah, and after you have a traumatic experience or something where you just think that you didn't perform as well as you could have, you
Right.
play it back a bunch of times.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
I could have done this differently, or should I? I was still getting that, even though everything went just fine. I
Right.
still had all my stuff. I was safe. My girlfriend was safe. Things could not have gone better, really. And I'm sure the guy wasn't hurt. It wasn't the strongest kick or anything.
Where would
but,
you say the kick connected?
his chest.
Chest?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was it pushed him back.
Wow.
It was pretty heroic, I gotta say.
Please send me the memes related to this story. I beg you. Yeah, the Arc de Triomphe is actually where my girlfriend and I were almost sort of pseudo scammed, where a guy came up and he said, "Excuse me, you dropped a ring," and he appears to pick up a ring off of the ground. And both of us say, no, that's not our ring. And he says, oh, well, it's a gift for you. And he puts it on my girlfriend's hand. And she says, okay. And he's like, do you, €1-2? And she just takes it off and hands it back to him.
Okay.
And says, no. And I'm sure he just goes around doing that.
Yeah.
Wow, though. That's nothing compared to what you experienced.
Right. And I felt like I wasn't really prepared for it because I always just thought that pickpocketers go in and like reach into your pocket and you never even knew they were there.
Right.
I didn't realize they had all these different plans and different avenues to pursue.
Yes, that's
so like I was
stunning.
startled by it for a little bit. It took a little while before I felt comfortable again.
That's
I don't know.
really, really. Fortunately, nothing bigger happened, I guess,
Sure.
is what I would say. All right, so I'll talk a little bit about my trip. I was in Vegas, of course. Then I went for the conference. Then I flew to Los Angeles to visit former TV director Natan Pachman. Rented a car, drove north through basically a number of different places. Stopped in a bunch of places: Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo, Monterey. Ultimately, terminating the trip in San Francisco, spending a couple of days there, and then flying home. And so first of all, at the conference in Vegas, this was Mike Papantonio's conference, there were people from all sides of the left, so to speak. The we believe the Russia story is a hoax side, the we believe there is a Russia story side, and so on and so forth. So there were some very interesting disagreements that took place at the conference, none of which I participated in because I wasn't there to debate politics with people. But Sam Cedar certainly participated in some of those debates. Saw Cenk Uygur there, saw a lot of the Ring of Fire people, saw Ed Schultz's producer, saw some people from RT, a lot of different people there. And I think my message is the left is very, very divided, but all elements of the left were still able to sort of be cordial and have dinners together. And that did not evolve. It did not devolve into partisan bickering of sorts.
Maybe more diverse than divided then.
It was a diverse set of views rather than a divided set. Sure. So that's that. And I go to the conference twice a year. Not really anything else to report from there. I had just a horrible experience at the hotel in Los Angeles, and I'm not even going to say what hotel it was. Doesn't really matter. But I was staying in Los Angeles with my girlfriend for 3 nights. We checked in, and I was told, checking out tomorrow, right? I said, no, not checking out tomorrow. I'm here 3 nights. I said, no, you have a 1-day reservation, 1-night reservation. I said, doesn't really make sense. Here's, my whatever, all my information. He said, you know what happened? For some reason, your 3-night reservation got split into a 1-night reservation and a 2-night reservation. I'm going to combine them for you so that everything will be all set. No problem whatsoever. I get into the room, and the room stinks to high heaven of some kind of perfume. It's one of these hip hotels where they have like a unique scent that's sprayed everywhere, but particularly in the rooms on everything, on the bedding, on the pillows, in the bathroom, everywhere. And immediately, my skin starts to react to it. Like I'm allergic to this scent. I start getting itchy and red all over. So I call down and I say, listen, I don't know what it is that smells in here. The room's fine. Everything's fine. But I think I'm allergic to whatever it is that you're spraying. And they immediately said, oh, that's our signature scent. We're going to send our team. I don't even want to use all the words they use because it'll probably make it evident. But anyway, they don't call it housekeeping there. They call it our style team.
I like it. We're
going to send our style team up to neutralize the scent. It's going to be no problem for you. So, all right. Went out to dinner, went out with my brother and a few other friends, blah, 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 blah. I get back. They did do a good job of neutralizing the scent, but it's 55 degrees in the room because they've opened up the windows and it was a cool night and set the AC to max, I guess, to get rid of that scent, to like get it out through the vents and through the windows or whatever. So the room's freezing. No problem. They've neutralized the scent, closed the window, set the AC to a normal temperature. It looks like everything's okay.
Okay.
Next day I get up, I go out. I come back and it's about 5 p.m. And I go to the elevator, and you've got to, put your card, your room card, up for the elevator to work. And the red light comes on. Doesn't let me up the elevator.
Huh.
Saying, that's weird. Maybe the card
yesterday, right?
became demagnetized. My girlfriend takes out her card. She puts it up to the thing. Red light. We're blocked out from the elevator. Now, immediately, I think back to, I had a 1-night reservation and a 2-night reservation. I think what happened is they didn't fix the problem. And I've been checked out because I had a one-night reservation as far as their computer was concerned. Checkout is noon. It's 5 p.m. I'm out.
Okay.
I go to the front desk and I hand them my card and I say, I'm unable to get into the room, into the elevator. They say, well, checkout time was at noon, Mr. Pacman, and it's 5 p.m. And I say, no, I'm here for 2 more days. They eventually get it fixed. I get into the room.
You're in the same room. That's good. Yeah.
I get into the room. It stinks again. They've resprayed the stuff. Why? Because the note not to spray it on my reservation was only there for the one-night reservation, not for the second night. And within 5 minutes, clearly when I actually went into the room, something was flagged. Security shows up, and they say, Mr. Pacman, we're here about your departure time.
Yeah, you're supposed to go
and
5 hours ago.
I just dealt with this for the second time.
Oh my God!
I'm here for 2 more days. So anyway, not a great experience there, but beautiful bedding, absolutely beautiful bedding, and my back felt great from the mattress.
Did you notice that other people were complaining about the scent too, or do you think just because you were allergic to it, that's why you were so averse to the smell?
I know that other people were complaining about it from the reaction. When I called down and I said, listen, I don't know if there's like a perfume or a cleaning product, they said, oh, it's our signature scent. We'll send our team up there.
Yeah, like a new signature scent, I think.
It was very obvious that it's a common problem. So that was that. I had an interesting experience. We're walking through Beverly Hills. The previous night, I had been talking with my brother and some of his friends about what shows we're currently watching, and I mentioned The Americans is back. Great program. I love The Americans. Margot Martindale is in the show. She's great. Frank Langella is in the program. He's great. Walking through Beverly Hills, very nice sports car pulls up. I look over, and then I do a double take, and it's Frank Langella of The Americans and of many other great programs and movies sitting there on speakerphone. 80-year-old guy working speakerphone while driving. Very, very advanced guy for 80. And
he probably has a similar story. I was just driving by and
I saw David Pacman there.
David Pacman standing right there.
I don't think so. So I saw Frank Langella. Other than that, had a great time in California. Love San Francisco. San Francisco continues to be one of my favorite cities in the country. I do like LA, although spending 45 minutes in the car, no matter where you want to go, is not exactly the best thing. A lot of emails from people asking if the show was canceled, which happens every time we go on vacation. A lot of emails from people saying that they know we're on vacation, but it would be really great if I could cover X because it happened, like the Michael Cohen stuff or whatever. And of course, I'm driving through, rural coastal California, not exactly a situation where I can do
Not the time to live stream about Barbara Bush.
Right, I couldn't do it. And other than that, a good trip. All flights were on time, and I made it back safely, and it was a good vacation.
Did you stick to the cities for the most part? I think ahead of the vacation, you were talking about going up to Big Sur and maybe seeing like some national parks, because there is a lot of beauty at that part of the country.
Stopped in some small places, like Pismo Beach is a place that we stopped in, which is like an old hippie community outside of San Luis Obispo. Stopped in Monterey, which is near Big Sur. Drove through Big Sur, but because of timing, wasn't able to stop there, but did stop in Monterey, which is another beautiful little coastal town. So yeah, I got to see some of the coastal areas.
Successful vacation then.
Very successful. I really like it out there. It's an area where there's only a few places that I've been to in the U.S. where I could really see myself living. Boston, New York, City, Miami, San Francisco. It's not a huge list. Austin, Texas, maybe. Western Mass, where I grew up, I do like it there. San Francisco's a great spot.
Sometimes I feel like I'm Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
And I think that I could never live anywhere except for Boston. Like, this is just the place for me.
Right.
But I don't think you have that feeling because
you
were not even born and raised here.
No, I wasn't. I could definitely live in places other than Boston. So anyway, very, very exciting trip. No fainting for me on airplanes. Ooh. No car breakdowns for you, which I know was an issue last time you had a trip.
I remember, now that you mentioned that, as I was landing to go to Iceland, because I was in Iceland for a layover, like the last 10, 20 minutes of the flight, I did feel a little bit lightheaded.
Really?
And I was a little bit sick, like I had a tiny bit of a cold because I get that when I'm traveling sometimes, especially if you're drinking different water and exposed to different elements.
I don't know if just drinking London water gives you a cold, but fair enough. Go ahead.
Well, so I've read.
Yeah.
And I thought for a second, like I could pass out here because of just the altitude difference and the pressure. My sinuses were very, clogged up. And I was like, am I going to pull a Pac-Man here right on the plane in front of everyone?
So it was a confusing medical diagnosis, but one which nevertheless left you feeling as though you could potentially faint, but you didn't, fortunately.
Right.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's good. I'm glad you didn't faint. It's not a good experience on a plane, although at least you were close to landing. When it happened to me, I was above Greenland, halfway between Rome and Boston. Okay, one really quick thing. Sam Cedar suggested to me that I create a website. Instead of talking about davidpakman.com/membership, he said, create a website, a simple.com, that will redirect to the membership sign-up page. Like he has one called like Join the Majority Report or something like that, .com. So he had the idea, join the pack, PAK.com. Ooh. It's taken, and the guy who owns the URL wants $1,000 for it. Just not worth it, okay? So I'm open to ideas from the audience. Joinpakman.com is available. PakmanMembership.com is available. I know that by mentioning these, anybody could go pay the $10 and register it, whatever. If you really are desperate to ruin what I'm doing, go ahead. I don't think our members would. But my question to you is, what URL, simple URL, should I buy and redirect it to the membership page so that instead of promoting davidpakman.com/membership, I can just promote something like joinpakman.com. Send me your thoughts, please, via email, david@davidpakman.com. I will make a decision, and we will get the URL set up.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.